Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage. We are working on the 34 hot rod project. So the last video was a little bit of ups and downs. We got the oil pan cleaned out, and I got all the gunk out of there. The oil pump was good, or looked good. Put everything together, got it cranked up, got oil pressure, but we found that there was still some water in the engine, and they had epoxied those pipe plugs into the block drains, which is a little scary. But I'm gonna basically, at this point, we don't really know unless we get the engine running if it's good or bad. So I'm gonna keep pushing forward because I want to hear this thing make noise. So today what we're gonna work on is kind of like we do in a lot of these videos. We're gonna see if we can get this thing to make some noise. So we're gonna work on filing the points or sanding the points, clean any corrosion off, try and get some gas to go down the carb and see if we can make some noise. And then if it does, we may see if we can get the original mechanical fuel pump that's on it to pick up fuel and get it to run for more than a few seconds, and that will at least give us an idea of what's going on. And yeah, who knows? Or we may find out it's completely junk and you'll see me crying at the end of the video. Who knows? We'll have fun either way. So I didn't even try to see if the carburetor's free or stuck or moves. Oh, actually. Alright, well, carb is moving. Has a really strong throttle cable, or throttle spring. So this looks to have, I believe, an original distributor on it. And the coil's sitting right here, and almost everything's right in place. So we should be able to just hot wire this thing once we clean the points off. We just gotta see what it looks like. May need a screwdriver to. Ow. Yeah, we'll need a screwdriver to pop that off. Whew. Let's see.
There's one. Did you get your side?
Yep. Should just pop off now.
Oh.
Alright. That actually doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks pretty clean now.
Yeah, it looks like it has new tune-up parts on it, to be honest. Okay, you wanna hold that? I'll grab the camera here. Now I know it's kind of kept from the weather, but a lot of the parts look shiny and sort of new, the wiring, so it doesn't look as crusty as you would think. So we're gonna work on opening up these points here. Just get a little bit of sandpaper in, see if we can get them to, I can already see there's a little corrosion on them, so we'll see if we can get them to clean up, and then we'll put some power to it and see if we can get some spark. Alright, so got our little tiny screwdriver here, so we're gonna just try and get the points to open up, number one. But they are like actually pretty damn corroded, considering it was sitting inside. There's all this white corrosion around it. So I'm gonna try and get a piece of sandpaper. We just have like 320 right here. And see if we can just quickly knock it off. That's usually my first attempt, and then you gotta see how it acts, but you know what, that's too thick. I usually start with the laziest method first, which is just opening it up, putting a piece of sandpaper between, letting it pinch the sandpaper, and then I push on it a little bit as I pull it out. I just saw some dust fly off there, some corrosion. Oh yeah, you see this might be hard to see, but there's like white dust on it. Just flaked off, so we got a bunch of that down in here. So same thing, just keep everybody has their own method, I'm sure, but this is just the one that works best for me. I put just a tiny bit of pressure with the screwdriver and pull up, and I'm also putting pressure down so I'm not bending the arm here. But just keep running it back and forth till basically we have, you can already see the one contacts cleaning up pretty good. But Keep doing that till you got it nice and clean. The rotor doesn't look too bad. Let's check the cap. Actually, we didn't even check that. It's definitely been used, but it doesn't look too horrible. Doesn't look I don't see anything burnt or trails on it anywhere, so hopefully the cap's okay. Like I said, we try the laziest methods first. We'll get all the armchair mechanics that are telling me I'm doing it wrong, but this is what works for a beginner knucklehead like me. Alright, so usually once I start seeing that the sandpaper doesn't have white dust on it, we're getting a little bit of gray like we're sanding metal, or not corrosion, it's usually pretty good. I can see the other contact on this side looks like it's pretty much clean. The one you guys can hopefully see there is clean, so I think that's good for now. Put the cap back on and see about powering some stuff up. Alright, so we were getting ahead of ourselves. We thought we were about to crank the engine over, all excited, getting our jumper wires ready, and then we remembered that we never put the spark plugs back in the engine from one of our previous times, so that would have definitely caused a no start problem. So I'm just sanding the electrodes just a tiny bit, just the same thing, take any minor corrosion off, and then Andrew's getting them threaded back in. Andrew has emerged from under the car. He's earning his keep today, laying around, crawling on the floor. And we got all the plugs in and tight and cleaned them half-assed. And I think we're ready to take a battery, hook stuff up, and see if we can make this thing make some noise. I'll start moving the battery around here. Alright, so we got all our janky wires hooked up here. Looks like we've done this a couple times, so.
Except for from the coil.
Yeah, so we just gotta hook the coil up here.
You want me to crank it?
Yeah, you can use the button. Not yet.
Yeah, you want me to let off if it pops, or?
Yeah, go ahead. Stop. Battery's not too happy.
Put the jump box on.
Yeah, we may have to. Alright, go ahead. I have a feeling it's the ignition. The coil's getting hot. Maybe we should, I'll hook it up to the ballast resistor. I was just hoping the ballast resistor was, it was trying there. We were close. I could tell it. I mean. All right, go ahead. It'll run. It'll run. You can hear it. All right, let's get the bowl filled up. See if this thing will suck some fuel. You can hear it. It's gonna fire. It's just we got probably not enough fuel getting down in there. Pre-cleaner or running juice. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Once it runs. for a second, you left the starter on.
Yeah. I was too amazed at it running and kind of like
I'm like,
zoned out for a
whoa, what are
second.
you doing? I was trying to keep it running and then
That was my fault.
that's all right. All right, so we're working on still getting this thing started. I think I might have flooded it, which is typical, but this is pretty funny. It says acorns, rust. The best kind of funny part is there's a little carcass of a something, mouse or something that was living in the tailpipe. We could still see there's some like acorns. Not good. If I know anything about old cars, that is not a good sign. Let's hope they didn't make it all the way up into the engine, because that's not good. But
Maybe it's the damn acorns.
maybe he only made it that far. Let's hope he didn't make it any further. Fuel pump start working yet? Didn't sound like it was running on all cylinders. That's something. All right, so we're back at it. In between last time, we ended up changing the plugs out. Decided to be not as much of a cheap ass, and I got some new spark plugs, so we threw some cheap plugs, whatever I could get at the auto parts store for curbside pickup. Got those. And we also found that some of the spark plug connectors or terminals, these old school ones, they were kind of loose and they were like almost falling off the plug, so that's definitely not helping. Number 3, I realized that I'm a dumbass and just assumed that this thing, because it had like a 9-volt battery or whatever in it, was running on 6-volt for the whole car. And well, Chevy engines need 12 volts for the ignition system, so yeah, that probably wasn't working. So what we did was went ahead, hooked everything up through the ballast resistor, which we found hanging on the side there. And now we're going to try and make the thing fire with some of these new parts. Hopefully, we're going to start by just spraying some stuff in it, and then if that works, then we can work our way up and hopefully fill up the carb and maybe see if the fuel pump will work or not. Probably not. So got a little starter switch hooked up here so I can try it out. So I'm trying. Got a long way to go. So let's hook the ignition up. There we go.
Hook some gas up.
Yeah! That was it. I'm a dumbass. Easy fix. Sweet. Oh, it's stinky. All right, we got it to run longer. Holy shit.
Just a little bit of stuff.
Look at all the rust. Well, we found a mouse nest. George wasn't here when Andrew and I were working on it. We spit a mouse carcass out of the exhaust, and we found them on the ground. We got like little treats for the mice or squirrels or whatever.
Yeah,
Not great, but
He didn't get to enjoy those nuts.
that's hilarious. All right, so we're gonna try and fill the carb up through this breather hole in the top. We started squirting some down in, and I can definitely hear it's going in. So I'm gonna try and get the bowl filled up a little bit to give us a fighting chance to keep this thing running for a few seconds longer. And then we got the fuel line unhooked already for the feed, and we're gonna again roll the dice and see if maybe the original, or not original, but fuel pump that's in it maybe will work. Very unlikely, but you know if you don't try. Is that getting wet around there like it's...
Yeah,
around here, but it could be from overspray because it was kind of high. No, it's seeping.
All right, so that means we got plenty in there.
It's up to the gasket.
All right, so we got the bowl full. We can put our feed line back on. Tighten that up, and then I'm gonna put this down. Maybe we'll get lucky and our fuel pump will actually wanna live another day. Put that under here, just in case we'll go. Something with the ignition wire and shit. Oh yeah, there we go. Something like the ignition wiring or something's wonky because I touched it. Fired. Alright. Yeah, okay, we're good now. So it's just, hold on, let me, oh yeah. Yes! And I think, and we still have spark.
Nice.
So it's just, those points are still crappy.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's stinky in here. Okay. Look at how much.
Holy mackerel.
Look at it all. Oh my god. There's just like,
Wood chips, bedding, seat.
What?
That's part of the seat.
it's just probably all acorns that were just like. They definitely like that side better.
Oh my god, look, it's the whole way back there.
Oh my god.
Even more acorn.
I'm gonna show you guys this. They definitely like the driver's side tailpipe more. Cause there's like so much, but look how far, so here's the tailpipe.
Good 12 feet back.
It goes like all the way, it was shooting to the brake. Oh god, now we got a mess to clean up. Andrew! And we got juice on the ignition.
Yeah, it definitely pulled.
Did it?
Well, it
No.
looked like it did.
Maybe it didn't. Nah, it's not pulling. Fuel pump's junk, or diaphragm needs.
Yeah,
But
diaphragm might be
Now we got it running,
crap.
and the fuel pumps needs rebuilt, but everything else is working. So All right, so the fuel pump is definitely bad as we expected, and we just got it cobbled together, set up here with the squirt bottle just to try and feed it some more. This is our last try to see if we can get this thing to idle before we actually start putting new parts on it, but figure we'll give it a try. One last hurrah. Got spark at the ignition. There we go. Yeah, I wanted to idle like 20 RPM like a flat.
It's not going to do that.
There we go. I'm sure it'll need to clear some shit out, but it's sitting there idling. George is going to be my fuel pump for right now. Yeah. That is awesome. Oh yeah. Got some smoke, that's all right. Sounds good. I can't believe that. All right. Yes. Success, finally. All right, so that was super exciting. That's probably one of my favorite things to do, is to make an old engine or old car live again for the first time, and really psyched that we were able to do that. There's a little bit of back and forth, and actually this video we filmed over a bit of time between me jumping between the other projects, and as I mentioned when we pulled this car and the 32 out, these are kind of like side projects. So I'm trying not to put a ton of time into them, so in between different things where we have a free couple hours, we'll work on the car. So the first couple of times we were working on it early on, we're trying to get it to run. I wasn't putting a lot of thought into it, and dumb me didn't realize that all Chevy, small block Chevys are 12 volt. I was used to messing with some of the earlier Cadillacs and stuff like that, where they were still 6 volt in the earlier overhead valve versions. So once we figured that out, and I actually took the time to put some fresh plugs in it, and put a little more focus to it, we were able to get it running, and we shot pretty much all the crap that was in the exhaust out, so that seemed to be okay. A couple of things we noticed: the fuel pump is definitely not working, so we're gonna have to get either a rebuild kit or another fuel pump for the engine. I was actually really surprised that the carburetor worked. We didn't really do anything to it other than fill it up and use it. And it was working. As you guys heard, we were able to rev the engine up. We actually got it to idle a little bit, which was great. So it's pretty good for now. Fingers crossed it's gonna end up working okay without any major work to the carburetor for right now, at least. So next steps for this car, number one is probably get the throttle hooked up so we can actually work the pedal in the car. We found the modified gas pedal was the 34 pedal that was cut and modified. We had all the linkage and everything, so we should be able to get that hooked up. That'll be nice because we'd actually move it in the car, and then we could try and actually move the car under its own power, which would be cool. Number two is get the water pump pulley back on, get the belts on, get the radiator in, get the hoses on, and fill it with coolant and see what we find. Fingers crossed it's going to be okay. A lot of you guys were commenting, and it was kind of what I thought as well, is that there wasn't enough coolant in there, and there was enough room for expansion that hopefully didn't break anything. So I'm hoping we're going to be okay, but we will truly find out when we actually put some water or coolant in it and get the thing up to temperature. That's when we'll know what's going on. If we see some kind of mess underneath, and we will know, but so far everything seems okay, which is really great. So that's pretty much the update on the 34. Huge update, really psyched on it. What we're going to work on in between us doing that other stuff is my buddy Kevin from True Shine is actually one of my neighbors, and he is going to come over and give us a hand with getting the interior cleaned up a little bit in the car. I want to do something that's a little less work involved with that than some of the engine stuff we have to do. We're going to tackle some of the interior and we'll just jump around on it. So next time we'll show you guys cleaning up the interior, and hopefully when that's done, we'll be ready to start doing some more with the engine and actually make it move under its own power for the first time. So thank you guys for following along on the 34 project. I really am having fun with this one because it's not so involved like some of the other projects where we're making half the car from scratch. It's nice for once just to tinker around a little bit and have these small victories, and is a nice breath of fresh air in between all of the other major projects that we have going on. Thanks guys, catch you later.